Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews, and Spider-Man No Way Home has been breaking box office records since the pandemic. It is one of the first films in quite a while that's made it into the top 50 highest grossing films, and it is currently in the 6th highest grossing film of all time with a total of 1.7 billion dollars made from it. So today I'm going to be ranking the top 20 highest grossing films that I have seen. If you want to check out these films, you could go to the list of highest grossing films page on Wikipedia. I found it like 4 years ago, but I'm watching it. They got a bunch of stuff on there. I really like to keep track of this stuff. It's pretty fun for me. But the top 50, I might rank all 50 eventually. I just got a few films that I got to watch. So when I say top 20 that I've seen, I have not seen Fast and Furious 7 and Fate of the Furious, Fast and Furious 8. The two Fast and Furious movies. You guys had me watch Titanic, so that was the only movie on this that I actually watched. The other, the two Fast and Furious movies on here, I didn't check them out because I would have to watch all 8/9 Fast and Furious movies, and I'm gonna wait a little while before I do that. So maybe one day I'll rank the top 50. I got 5 movies that I need to see on there, so maybe eventually. But right now, we have the top 20, which we got quite a few big blockbuster films, some animated films, some bad movies, some good movies. So this is Max Reviews. I'm Braden, and we're going to rank them. And coming in 20th place here is going to be Minions. This is the lowest one on the list, for extremely obvious reasons. The horrible childish humor. I have no idea how this movie made over $1 billion. Like, Illumination is an extremely greedy company, and some people might see this movie and find it just a cute movie about these minions, but it's not. It is extremely stupid, dumb, potty humor the entire time. The soundtrack, the just how everything plays out. Like, this movie I used to like when I was, I don't know, when it came out when I was a little 7-year-old, I might have liked it. But this movie is absolutely horrible. This is, just, how did this movie make this much money? I have no idea. This movie, just so bad. Easily the worst movie on the list. It's still, like, it's made by Illumination. They put a lot of money into it, you could sort of see. With the animation stuff, they did put money into it. It's not the worst movie ever, but it is pretty horrible. So, it comes in 20th place out of these 20 movies, so that's too bad, but it's really not. Coming in 19th place, we have The Lion King. This is currently the highest grossing animated film, even though it's not really 100% animated. It is animated, but it looks real life. So, I really do like the old animated Lion King. And this one, I don't like it. I don't like how it goes with the it looks beautiful. Let me just say that. That's the thing that I could say about this movie. It looks beautiful. Other than that, this movie, it just it copies the same thing as the original, except maybe it adds a few things. And when the lions start singing songs, that just doesn't work in live action. Some of the stuff just does not work in this movie. So, when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, this is beautiful, but I don't like it. So, unfortunately, it comes in 19th place. And now in 18th place, we have probably the second stupidest movie on here, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. In this movie, we're getting into the ones that I can enjoy. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is an extremely stupid movie that has genetically engineered dinosaurs, a cloned girl, and just all this weird stuff where it is so stupid, where you have this gun where you point it at somebody, have the laser, hit it, and it doesn't shoot a bullet, it tells the dinosaur to kill you. If the gun had a bullet in it, why have the dinosaur kill it? That's just overkill. Just, this stuff in this movie is extremely stupid, but I could still watch it, be like, hey, dumb stuff, dinosaurs, I could have a bit of fun with this movie. And it is darker, no, not darker, but it takes sort of the fun out of seeing people eaten alive by dinosaurs. because they're not at Jurassic Park. They're out in the world. They're being killed. It's just like, this movie is not a good movie in any regards. But it could be stupid and I could have fun with it. So that's why it's better than Lion King. And now 17th place, we have a movie that I'm so surprised that people, just how much money it made. Beauty and the Beast, the live action film. This movie made over $1 billion and nobody talks about it. If you watch other big movies on this list, Endgame, Titanic, Force Awakens, Avengers, like even Jurassic World, Black Panther, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, all those movies, people talk about them. Beauty and the Beast, nobody talks about Beauty and the Beast. You talk about Minions more than Beauty and the Beast. Everybody hates Minions. Well, not everybody, obviously. Little kids like it, but still. Beauty and the Beast made a ton of money, and I know a ton of people that watched it, and everybody that I've heard that's seen it says, yeah, it was good. Not as good as the original. It was fine. Changed a couple songs. I liked it, but it was fine. And so many people went to see it, and they all had, like, the same reaction. Me, I thought it was okay. It's nothing super special. It's about the same thing, except for a bit worse. I'm there with everybody else. I don't absolutely hate this movie, but I don't really 100% love it either. It's just sort of there. I don't like it a whole bunch, to be honest. Emma Watson in this movie, I do like Emma Watson in the Harry Potter movies, but in this, she can't 100% sing. I'm just being honest. The way she sings is a bit too much auto-tune in it. Well, am I even making sense? I haven't seen this movie in a while. So, just this movie, it's worse than the other one. Some of the animation for stuff, like if you look at the candlestick or the clock, the animation on it does not look fluid. It does not look that good. So it comes in 17th place. 16th place, we have another movie, probably in popular opinion, but Frozen 2. I don't like Frozen 2 too much. Nowhere near as much as the original. The original was the first animated film that I saw in the theaters. It was a big thing for me. I just don't like how the film flows and how it goes with how it overplays some characters and underplays some characters, and what they do with Kristoff in this movie, what they do with just everybody. I don't like what they do with this movie, and we're still sort of in movies that I know are good, but I don't like that much. And I gotta say, there's one good song on it, Into the Unknown, and that's about it. I had to watch this like back in I think I saw this back in November for the first time, and I was just, like, really disappointed. I had heard that it was better, and I also heard that it was worse, and I gotta say it was worse. I heard they had a troubled production, and I could see that through this, and so, this one does not click for me, nowhere near as good as the first Frozen. And now, 15th place, we have a movie that I actually think is pretty good, Incredibles 2. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually think Incredibles 2 is really good. It's not as good as the first. I wouldn't call it really good, actually. I'd call it good. The animation is definitely a lot better. The characters are still there. You have some nice humor in here. Is this the greatest movie? No. Is this Pixar's greatest work? No. Screenslaver, pretty good villain. I don't think I like her as much as, who was it? Who is it? The guy's name. Give me a second, I'm gonna look it up. But I don't like her as much as Syndrome. Yeah, Syndrome from the first Incredibles. This is, it took a while to come out with a sequel, and I still like it. I could put it on, have fun with it. But just the more I watch it, the more it sort of goes down on this list. It's fine. So, the stuff that they do with Jack, really funny. The stuff with the characters, pretty good. But then also you have problems with the mini characters, the actual twist reveal villain, just everything that they do with that. But still, animation is nice. It looks cool, so it's good. Not horrible, not amazing. 14th place. We're getting into the actually movies that are good. Frozen. This one probably could have moved up a few spots, but these other movies I enjoy a lot more than Frozen. Frozen is a lot better than Frozen 2, even though they're separated by just Incredibles 2. So Frozen was my second film that I saw in the theaters. It wasn't my first animated film that I saw in the theaters, but it was the second film I saw in the theaters. And it was my sisters, all three of my sisters' first film that they saw in the theaters. And just a great movie. I gotta say, the music, the storytelling, how they handle the characters. And of course, some of the songs and stuff have been overplayed so many times, but still, I really enjoy this movie when I could put it on. It's fun. It's nice. And so, definitely not the greatest movie on this list, as you could tell, but this is the best animated film on this list. I do like Frozen, and I still have a fun time with it every time when I put it on. Just the jokes, the songs, the characters, the emotion, while also having a bunch of fun elements to it. It's just a great movie. 13th place here, this is one of the hardest films to put on here, The Last Jedi. I also saw this movie in the theaters, The Last Jedi. It was, when I saw it, I absolutely loved it. I loved the characters, how they did everything, and then that was back in 2017, and so I really did like it, and then went back and I just discovered last year, the year before that people actually hated this movie, and a bunch of people absolutely loved this movie. And so after I rewatched it a few times, I do realize stuff like, this movie does look beautiful. The stuff that they do with Luke is great. It got my theater laughing. Just the look of things, really great. And then there's other stuff where after rewatching it many times, it moves down on my list, because the whole thing at Canto Bright, this is going to seem just weird, but I do not like Rose in this movie. She just doesn't work. I'm sorry. What they do with Finn, nowhere near as good as in The Force Awakens. And then just the stuff that they do in this movie with having this DJ guy and then having Leia float through space. It's just so weird. And I could understand that, but still, all this stuff, Admiral Holdo, she's a very unbearable character in this movie. And so it's just, and then Poe is turned into a highhead. So I still do like this movie. There's some elements to it. The fight, Luke versus Kylo Ren, I always absolutely love that fight. The look, the feel, the tension. I just love that. And how Luke goes out, so perfect. Yoda showing up, that was great. What they do with Rey and having her be a nobody, that works so well, because everybody thinks, oh, she's going to be this person, she's going to be this person. And it was ruined by Rise of Skywalker, but I do like the idea. So, The Last Jedi, it is extremely mixed. You have your amazing stuff, and then you have your bad stuff. So, it comes sort of in the middle here, not exactly the middle. There's a bunch of good movies on this list, so I gotta rank the Star Wars movies. Okay. 12th place, we have Iron Man 3, a movie that the more I think about it, the more I like it. A lot of people have been saying this movie was no good. I watched it. I don't even know when I watched it, but I watched it and I really liked it. The talk with Robert Downey Jr., his sarcasm works in this movie. Just seeing him without the suit taking down guys. Mandarin twist, I'm fine with it. The actual villain isn't too great, but I'm okay with that. The action final battle is awesome. And so, even though it's not what we usually get from the MCU in some terms, while some people, it doesn't really seem to connect with the rest of the MCU, nothing in this movie seems to matter. There's nothing that talks back about, oh, this, except for Shang-Chi when they had the Mandarin in. So, some people don't like it for those terms, but I like this movie for doing something not 100% different, but not 100% connecting to the MCU in a bunch of ways. So that's sort of what I like about this movie, while also having some of the best Iron Man action I have ever seen, and then a bunch of really nice sarcasm. There is some faults with it, with people blowing up, and the kid can be a bit frustrating at times. But other than that, this movie is good. Okay, 11th place here. This is probably too high for you guys, but Jurassic World. Jurassic World, let me just say, I like this movie more than I should. I know that. And there's some times where I'm like, Jurassic Park versus Jurassic World, which is better? And I think Jurassic World. Which would I rather put on and watch right now? Jurassic World. Which do I have more fun with? Jurassic World. Which is a better film overall? Probably Jurassic Park. But Jurassic World is a movie where it takes the just beautiful thought of Jurassic Park, and it I said Jurassic Pork, sorry, Jurassic Park, and it turns it into Chris Pratt on a motorcycle with dinosaurs. And that is, it takes the so civilized version of Jurassic Park and turns this beautiful thing into a popcorn movie with Chris Pratt going after genetically modified giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, where you have Tyrannosaurus Rex fighting, you have more death, more action, more explosions, more dinosaurs eating people, and more gore. And that's just this movie. This movie is stupid, makes no sense at times, but it is fun. I like this movie way more than I actually should. I can't wait to rewatch the Jurassic Park and World movies for Jurassic World Dominion coming out and just see where they take this franchise, how they're going to end the World trilogy. But, man, I have a fun time with this movie. More than I should, I know. You could criticize me, but I have a ton of fun with it. Okay, 10th place, Avengers Age of Ultron. A movie that I think is really underrated. It has a bunch of problems with it. I can understand that. But it still gives you those high moments, those amazing action sequences. Ultron as a villain, really good. And then this movie also has some great moments in it throughout it, the entire runtime. But it also has the lower moments and all the extra stuff. And everybody's got a side plot line, side quest, something going on. And it just doesn't 100% all come together at the end. A bunch of stuff doesn't make sense. But I could still really enjoy this movie. Even though it's not that great overall. Well, even though it has its faults, I will say. Because it is still a pretty good movie. Now, 9th place, we have Black Panther, the more mature MCU film that's going to be getting a sequel this year. I still really enjoy Black Panther. The CGI in some parts does not hold up, but still, the storytelling, the emotions, and then just the villain, Eric Killmonger, T'Challa, great character in here, and just everything in this movie with Black Panther. It's pretty fun, engaging. It could balance the humor while also having the action sequences and this deeper themes and more mature stuff, which I really do like this movie. Black Panther has always been sort of that step up to a different level for the MCU, where they go from just explosions and stuff to actual mature themes about Black Panther's dad dying and how it goes. But it also has lighter moments too, where the humor doesn't 100% land in all places. But I still like Black Panther. Still a good movie. And 8th place, we have the highest grossing film of all time, Avatar. This is my favorite movie of 2009, the year it came out. And Avatar. I don't know why people don't talk about this movie so much. It is a really professionally made, good movie. But for some reason, a bunch of people don't talk about it. It doesn't get as much talk, and it did in 2019 when Avengers Endgame came out, that people were talking about it again. But still, I still think this movie is pretty good. It has the amazing CGI elements, and James Cameron directed it really well. The action, but the only problem I could say with it is that some of the stuff in it, the entire plot line of guy goes to planet, goes to different place, meets new people, and then something happens, complications. He's gotta do this thing to protect them and choose sides. That is where the film sort of falters. So yeah, Avatar is really good. But now in 7th place, we have the one movie that I actually had to watch for this, because I've seen all the other ones except for the Fast and Furious movies, which aren't on here. But Titanic. James Cameron's film that he did right before Avatar, and man, this movie is good. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes long, but the characters are really good, and we spend the first half an hour in just modern day. It doesn't exactly fly by, but once you get to like that final hour, the tension goes insane. You get to see all these characters and what they would do if they were on the Titanic, what they were doing. Some guys, 100% giving up, ready to die. Some people fighting, they will do whatever they want to survive. Other guys, they're happy with just doing what they love until they die, like the violin guys. I really like this movie more than I thought I would. This is a really, really good movie, and it surprised me so much because it has this I wouldn't say it's that big of a standout cast. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is the only big standout here, but all these characters dying. The CGI elements aren't amazing, but this movie is really good. And so this one, if you haven't seen this one, give this one a watch. Really good movie. I should have seen it a lot sooner. It could be a romance while also being this sort of thriller with the Titanic. And I really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would. Okay, 6th place, we have the original Avengers. Such a great movie that I could go back and watch it right now. That's how much I like it. I just could go through it. You could continue watching it. It could be really, it's the first, like, big, huge blockbuster film. It has the characters in it that they all combine. It's the biggest, I would say the best big superhero team-up movie. It was like the first big one other than X-Men. So this was such a fundamental film for that. And then beyond that, the final hour is so fun, just seeing the Avengers beat up all these guys. Is Titanic a better film? Probably, but I still really enjoy Avengers a ton. Now, 5th place, we have Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Currently my favorite Harry Potter movie, and it could end this franchise in such a great way. The Harry Potter franchise, of course, not Fantastic Beasts. And the emotions, the fights, the just seeing the character payoffs, and the final scene, it all works so well to bring this franchise to an end. And I really enjoy it quite a bit. It is a really, really good movie. And just going through and just seeing what would happen to all these characters. It's just one of the greatest ends to a franchise I have seen in a very long time. Like the Avengers Endgame, that ended that so well, but it didn't 100% end it because they're still going on. So Deathly Hallows Part 2, such a great ending, and it might move up a bit more in the future. And 4th place, we have our new one that just got on air, Spider-Man No Way Home. The newest movie on this list that I've seen in theaters. Favorite movie of last year. Really love this movie. The payoffs that they have without spoiling anything. If you haven't seen it already, go see it. It's so worth it. The emotions, the just seeing these characters return, the little cameos that are in it, the action, the humor, it all works really well. And I'm happy that this is the film that brought back the box office, brought people back to the theaters to see this movie. It's such a great experience to go in there and see it with everybody, packed theater, just everybody cheering. Absolutely loved it. And so, Spider-Man No Way Home, such a great movie. And some people don't like it as much as I do. I really enjoyed it. And that's okay, because this movie is meant to be a big sort of payoff to any Spider-Man fan, and it does that. Before we get into the top 3, thanks for watching. This has been sort of interesting list because I've been doing the highest grossing films thing, watching that for the past 4 years, and then since 2020, nothing has gone on the top 50, so it's nice to finally be able to do this list. Maybe I'll do a top 50 in the future after I see Transformers movies and Fast and Furious movies, so we'll see. And 3rd place is going to be Star Wars The Force Awakens. This was the first PG-13 blockbuster and big movie that I saw in the theaters. Before this, I had seen Escape from Planet Earth, Frozen and Pan, some Peter Pan movie. But this was the first big blockbuster that I saw in the theaters. This is one of my favorite theaters experience, up there with No Way Home. And it was just my biggest thing to just go in there and see this amazingly cool action and Star Wars. I was a huge Star Wars fan back in 2015. And this is such a great movie. It still holds up, even though Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker made quite a few problems. Force Awakens is still an amazing movie. It still feels so slick, so cool to see this. The hype for this when I went to see this movie was so out of the room. I was just blowing the roof off, so excited to see it, and it paid off. It was such a great movie, and it still holds up to that to this day. I really love this movie. This is always going to be one of my favorite theater experiences of all time. And then also just watching at home, it still feels so slick, so great, so Star Warsy, while also having so much payoff and also having emotion and introducing new characters, and it does so great. This is one of the greatest things that Disney Star Wars has given us. And second place is going to be Avengers Endgame, the film that closed off like the central MCU other than Spider-Man Far From Home off so well. The emotions in here, it starts off pretty slow and then it just goes off in the final act. Everybody's talked about this movie so much, so I'm going to try to keep it brief. This movie is amazing, and it was the highest grossing film of all time for a short period before Avatar beat it again. So such a great movie, absolutely love it. But in first place is going to be Avengers Infinity War. Amazing movie, brought all the characters together. I've talked about this movie quite a few times on my channel here, so you guys know my opinion on it if you've been watching my stuff. But if you haven't, this is just my favorite MCU film. I did a ranking of them, you could check that out. And then I also just bringing all these characters together, the slick production, all the cast, everybody interacting, the action, everything, the ending works so well. Absolutely love this movie, and so it comes in number 1. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm Braden. This is Max Reviews. It's been great doing this list, and maybe I'll do a top 50 in the future. So, just thanks for watching, and Braden.